Growing up, every child has dreams and aspirations. My dream and aspiration growing up was to play professional football. Little did I know the sport I would join was a leading cause for concussions and CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. My first experience of that was at age 11 while playing tackle football. While doing a tackling practice drill, I had two cones. I was stationary in the middle of the cone. About 10 yards in front of me was a teammate. They had to run a head start. I would have to stop him from getting into my cones. On that play right there, we tackled helmet to helmet. After I tackled him, I got back up to what I thought was fireflies. For the next minute or so, I was spent swatting away the fireflies. After they were gone, I ignored it, didn't think anything of it, just thought they were fireflies. Fast forward a couple of years later, playing high school football. Same thing, doing tackling drills. Tackled a teammate low, tackled him into the knee. His knee hit my helmet hit the back of my head, hit the ground, and I felt nauseous for the rest of the practice. For that, I had to sit out, ignored it, and move forward. Little did I know, concussions were the most common injury sustained during competitions for almost every position in high school football, usually due to being tackled or tackling, according to Athletic Training Journal, 2018. Also at that time was Calvin Johnson, one of the top wide receivers in the league at the time, at the position I also played. Played for the Detroit Lions from 2007 to 2015. While he broke multiple records, he also broke multiple bones and also had multiple concussions. Being that he graduated from Georgia Tech, one of the top schools in the country, he was very bright, understood that his health would deteriorate after taking hit after hit into the head, and realized that millions and millions of dollars wasn't worth the longevity of him being happiness for the rest of his life. So after only 8 short years of breaking records, Calvin Johnson threw away millions of dollars to put up his cleats and call it quits. Another example, Junior Seau, drafted in 1990 to the San Diego Chargers, one of the greatest linebackers of all time. With 19 years of him constantly taking blows to the head by tackling other players, admitted playing with concussions throughout his career. Towards the end of his career, his family saw a change in him. He just ignored it, said he was just overwhelmed with playing for football so long. He went to retire in 2009. 2009 comes, little years after that, Junior Seau commits suicide by bullet to the chest, knowing that his brain had to be preserved for research so future players and current players can have an understanding of what football can actually do to your brain. So with that in mind, the NFL realized we have to protect our players, our past players, and our future players. So the NFL came up with a couple ideas. One, to help with concussions, was camera angles to check players at all times. So as you can see here, there's multiple angles. So at all times you have eyes on all 22 players. Also with concussions, longer healing time now. Prior, a player was just getting a concussion, they'd be ready to play the next day. Now you have to get cleared by doctors. Also, if anyone has a tough tackle or tough hit, they have to pass a logical concussion test on the field. Another thing the NFL realized that was tough part of the football was kickoffs. That had changed kickoff formations. They realized a lot of players, so one team starts from the other side and runs full speed down. So one team would have a run and head start, and at that rate, a lot of injuries can occur. So they added the new touchback rule. So the one player can't take the ball out from the end zone. Prior, the ball will be placed at the 20-yard line. Now it gets pushed to the 25-yard line. So it's more enticing for players to call fair catch, which would then reduce injuries. With that, the kickoff rule changes that were implemented in 2018 were made permanent. In 2018, the restrictions resulted in 35% decrease in concussions on kickoff plays when compared to the 2017 season, according to the NFL operations. Another fix that they wanted to focus on was tackling with the crown of the helmet or running backs leading with the crown of the helmet. With this, lower tackles are now prohibited, running backs can't lead with their helmet, and now you're subject to targeting, which could ultimately leave you with an ejection rule, meaning you get kicked out of the game. So with the many changes that we've seen in safety now, how they work in the NFL. Well, with the concussion rules, you need full clearance now by the NFL. You're not playing unless you have full clearance by the NFL. Quarterback safety has been better than ever before. Quarterbacks are safer than ever. There's a lot of referee input now. Referees talk every aspect of the game, make sure for the player's safety. They limit the amount of contact during practices, according to Amy Anzoletti, medical doctor from kidshealth.org, 2019. Also that improved was the kickoff changes. Less injuries, with more penalties enforced, which meant more touchbacks, less players getting hurt. Finally, tougher officiating. Offensive players are penalized more than ever. Running backs are penalized more than ever. Lower tackles are penalized more than ever. With that, more ejections, but also decreased concussions. With that in mind, the safety of the NFL will continue to improve for future generations, current generations, and past generations.